Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I'm gonna answer a question that one of my subscribers had asked in the last video. He asked what kind of life partner I was looking for. I had a video where I was talking about some frustrations I've had with dating since moving to the Arizona area. Well, you got to understand a little bit of history in order for this answer to make sense. Back in 2010, when I was working on my PhD, I had a situation where I had a girl who was taking advantage of me, and I broke up with her. And I went to event by myself, and I had the best time of my life. And I still feel that some of the best times of my life have been spent by myself. In fact, if I were to list the top 10 days of my life, at least 8 of them don't involve a girl. Now, here's the problem. After I moved out on my own, I quickly discovered how much keeping the lights on by yourself consumes your life, right? So, for example, I have to cook all my meals by myself, my household chores. Also, if I ever live with a roommate like I do right now, a lot of times the relationship with my roommates is adversarial, right? Not together like how a pair of spouses might be, right? So, for example, it's not so bad at this place, but at other places, I've had times where I had to, even though we might have a kitchen, I have to take my silverware to my room because otherwise it will disappear, right? Sometimes we argue about toilet paper. Sometimes we argue about the temperature of the room and bills. I had another house where we got into a war over the telephone bill. This was back in the day when we had landlines. I had a roommate from India, and he called home using the landline and insisted that we had agreed to split the bill. And then I decided to call a friend in another country because I thought I was paying the bill anyway. And so the end result is that it's adversarial, right? It's not like how do we work together anymore, right? Um, I think the fact that we're fighting all the time is even more upsetting than the silverware disappearing or having to pay for a phone call in India or anything like that. And then on top of that, I still have to cook all my own meals, right? Now things came to a head earlier this year. I had I was very ill twice. First with COVID-19, and later on with I got poisoned working with heavy metals. I had COVID-19, and I was just starting to recover. I had massive headaches, and it was 110 degrees outside, and I needed to go to the store to pick up some bananas, and I barely made it to the store. I don't even know how I drove to the store. I don't even know how I got out of my car and into the store. You got to understand, not only is it 110 degrees here in Phoenix, but it's a desert. There's no trees to park under a lot of times, right? And I don't know how I made it into the store. Also, my car's kind of aging. The interior fabric is falling apart and all that. And when I got to the store, I got about 5 or 6 bananas, and then there's nowhere to sit down. I ended up sitting on this mobility scooter just to eat. And it was at that moment that I realized that I really need a life partner. I can't tell you how much thunder the concept of having to take care of myself takes away from me. Right, I should be having other activities in my life. I'm writing an AI to see if I can predict how one might create chemical element number 115 moscovium. And unfortunately, having to keep the lights on in my life drastically takes away from that, right? And so I'd love to be doing some other projects too, right? Eventually, I do hope to create a particle accelerator at home, right? To come up with chemical element 115. I was reading about the story about this kid who had collected a few million smoke detectors and created a particle accelerator. I'd love to try that at some point. I have some ideas on that too. Obviously, I'll do it a little bit safer than how he did it. But I have to cook for myself. I have to take care of my own chores. I sometimes have to fight wars with my roommates. Not here, but in other places. Here, I'm the one who causes the trouble, and it just takes away the thunder of all that. Now, what kind of life partner do I want? In the long term, nobody. Once I have $10 million to my name, I won't care so much. I can eat out every meal. I can hire services. I'll probably not live in this shithole anymore of an apartment, right? But between now and then, somebody to take turns keeping the lights on, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.